Ha ha ha, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
We are with Rishi Vrishaparva.
Jai Gurudev.
I haven't recorded in I think 2 or 3 months, so this is gonna be our first walk the talk in a long time.
That's good.
And I'm happy that we have this conversation because I was so curious about your story. You're a silent mystery to me.
Okay.
And I'm very, very curious. Now we're gonna step into the office. We're gonna leave something there, and then we go on.
And then we can go straight away.
We go straight away to do the walk. This is Vidyalaya office. This is where all the magic of the
Look
academy
at that
happens.
here. Perfect.
So when you're in the ashram and you see this picture, this is Vidyalaya. This is the academy office. How are you, Rishiji?
Very good. Very good.
Have you recovered after Just Love?
Yes. Yeah. It took a few days, but now, very good.
It always takes a few days.
Yeah. For a few days it was like, wow.
It was, it was a very intense Just Love. I don't know how you felt it.
I think it was, yeah. I mean, you were doing the video, so...
Yeah, it was a lot of new things for me, and I had to learn a lot of new skills fast. So it was challenging and nice.
So it's good.
We have good weather, and we're not on the run. We just enjoy. This is Sunday. The prayers have just finished, and let's start with the beginning. So
nice.
I would really like to know your story, how everything unfolded. When exactly did your spiritual path start, and how? You take it from wherever you want, from the beginning.
So, truly speaking, for me also it's a bit of mystery. Because I have some memories, but I was saying to Rishi Jagadish the other day, I can't remember exactly when it was. But for sure when I was 15, 16, I was reading a little bit about yoga. I had some books my grandmother gave me at the time from Shivananda. And I remember to open those books about, asanas, hatha yoga. And for me it was always very familiar.
Oh, okay.
I never felt like, wow, what is this? What is this thing from India? Never. I always felt very close to that, basically. Even when later on I read about the yogis, I never felt like so much like, wow, what is this?
It's not exotic.
No, never, that's the thing. It was never exotic to me, in a way. But I don't remember exactly when I did some practices. But let's say 15, 16 years old. There was one day I remember, and that's the first experience. And I can't tell when, but yeah, whatever. I was reading this book from Shivananda. And in that book he say that one of the best practice is the japa, to chant the name of God. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds good, It seems quite easy, so let's do that. And so he gave a list of mantras, Om Namo Naranaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, with a small explanation for each of them. And he was like, you choose one of them, you buy a mala, and you just do it, And so I read this, I choose the Om. I was like, Om, very simple, it's nice. And I went to buy
A mala.
Yeah, I was in Geneva, in Switzerland. So I just went to buy a mala. I came back to my house, to the place I was living. And then I started to practice. Maybe again, 15, 16 years old, maybe. And then it was a huge thing. Like I started to sit down, Om, Om, Om. And it was like, it was so strong.
Wow.
Something very, very new. I never felt like that. But not in a good way. It was like a bit overwhelming, Like I will lose control somehow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Like the energy was too strong, or?
yeah, I don't know what it was, energy or whatever, but it was like, something was, I could feel like, okay, this is the real stuff, like. there's really something into that. And I think, I mean, at the time I also used to, I try, to do this out of body experience.
Yeah.
I remember that also. It's very vague memories, but I trying to go to sleep, to do something like to relax the body,
Yes.
and then try to imagine like a rope, and then you.
Yeah. There's a whole process. Yeah.
It never worked for me, but I remember I did those two things, the japa of the home, some yoga in some ways, and this trying to do these out of body experiences or whatever, and that's where basically it started. And I think that from this time where I started to do some japa of the home, from there I think a lot of things changed in my life. So that's how I remember these times. Not so clear, but yeah, that was more or less that.
So that was basically the first step on the spiritual path, you might say, searching, trying to find out if there's something else.
Let's say on the Hindu spiritual path.
But you were also interested in other traditions?
I mean, at the time I was a rastafari.
Of course.
So I had the dreadlocks. But when I say that, I don't mean it in a cheap way, in a way, because I was really into it. I was really into it.
Oh, okay.
I had like, if you see a picture of me at that time, I had like dreadlocks, yes, but also had the cross of Ethiopia.
Oh yeah.
I was praying to Haile Selassie.
Yeah.
Every day. So it was somehow.
So it was a spiritual practice.
It was a spiritual practice, and I was trying to find some books, how to pray and what to do, but it's not really the thing. It's still. Yeah, there is no practices, there is no path, really, systematized.
There's no discipline, basically.
No, not really.
That's what it's
really
lacking.
It's more to live in community, and then, to do different things, music especially.
Yeah.
But there was never a path system, and I think that's what it was missing for me.
And you felt that this was missing?
Yeah, fully. I really was looking for a path that will lead me to something,
But what made you look for this path? Was this inherent, or it was something that you just understood through experience that I really need something more concrete?
No,
or was it from the beginning?
So I think it happened in two different steps. If I now think about it. One was like when I was very young. I think when I was 8 or 9, my mother, she fell sick from uncurable sickness, you can say.
Oh, okay.
And so in a few years, she was gone.
Oh, okay.
From 8, 9, maybe 10, I think when I was 11, one day she was gone. It was quite a bad sickness, She could not speak, she could not remember who, she lose the memory and all these things. Quite bad, quite bad. And so from there, it made some impact on me, let's say. So a little bit of distance from life, in a way. A little bit more maybe than people of my age. But not so much, And still I wanted to enjoy a lot. And then of course I was always spending time with friends. For me, when I was 12, 13, 14, friends were everything.
Yeah,
so
that's the age.
I could not stay with my family, never. Like as soon as possible I was going out with the friends and going to, just being with people. I could not really stay at home. It was very difficult. And so, but there was still this, a bit of questioning life. Like why this, why that? And at this time with the Rasta movement, it was very much a rebel mood, like against society and all these things. Which
challenging the norms.
Yeah, changing the which with some distance is maybe was a bit shallow, of course. But that was a bit the mood. And so this was a little bit my thinking of the time. But then when I was 18, when I just turned 18, I started to get some anxiety crisis. And this was really the big change for me. Because from that time, I could not anymore go and see the friends. I could not go anymore from one day to the other. Everything I built my personality on, I could not do anymore. It was gone. So social life and all these things I could not because, anxiety crisis, you just stay,
You don't.
you just stay at home,
It's the opposite.
yeah, and the mind is taking over. You know, like you are
Yeah.
scared of everything,
Yeah.
and you try to control, but you don't really understand. And so from there, it took me a few months, and I was very lucky because after a few months, people get that for their whole life sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky because once I just read something from, it was a blog from a Mataji, and she just explained how the brain, you know, reacts and how anxiety comes, all these things. She really explained in a nice way. And from there, I could control a little bit. And after a few months, it was more or less.
You started to understand the process, and that
Yeah.
helped you overcome it.
Yeah, that's it. And then after a few months, I could again take my normal life in a way. Again, go to see the friends, travel with the friends, and all these things. But then at that time, the pressure, let's say, that I built up since years, you know, with this, I think since the death of my mother when I was young, you know, all this you keep inside when you are like 11, you know, you don't know how to express that.
Especially as men.
Especially as men,
As
of course. In a family of men, you know, only men and all this.
Yeah.
So it was, very much inside. And then this anxiety, this very strong anxiety crisis for a few months that then went away. Then somehow all the pressure went away in one go, and then huge depression. But not for a long time, like really few weeks, but really, really, really down. And from then, I learned about the power of now. You know this book?
Yeah,
From
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah?
It's a classic.
So I read this one, and this was the first thing that really hit me somehow, because I could really understand like why all this happened. You know, how I didn't express the emotions, how I didn't control my mind, how I wasn't disciplined with myself, and why all this happened basically. And so from there, I could rebuild myself in a very different way. And if you see picture of me before that anxiety crisis when I was 18, and maybe when I was 19, even physically, I'm fully different.
Wow.
And that's why when you ask me about this, when was the first time, it's difficult for me to say.
You cannot
because that
pinpoint an
time was
exact,
so, in a way, messy in my life, these few years, that I don't really exactly remember when, what, you know. Because I was going to school and all this, but inside, a lot of
processes,
a lot of changes. And I'm super grateful for that, because although it was definitely the most difficult time of my life, that for sure, it's the best. It's one of the best things that happened to me for sure. Otherwise, I would still be there.
That was a huge transformation.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would still be there.
Yeah.
There is no way I would have stopped. I liked it too much.
Of course,
Yeah.
and I think also, I think you from what you're sharing now, for sure you were fascinated about. I'm hinting now. I'm not sure, but I'm sure there was also existential crisis involved in this, and there were a lot of, especially in groups of people, when you start to discuss topics and you go into that endless circle of debating what's the meaning of life with no guidance, then you get lost. Because I recognize the pattern somehow.
You see what I mean?
It's very familiar. It's very familiar.
Very familiar.
And I remember also when I was in this pattern, how easily I could feed the depression, how easily I could feed the suffering through the mind process. And it's interesting because I was, at one point, I became atheist, and I was, for example, reading the Bible to feed my atheism. So I was trying the Old Testament, because the New Testament is really hard to accuse Jesus of anything. He's such a nice guy.
The old one is
the old one, bro. You can make a case study. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. Did this phase somehow fade away, or it continued in a different form later on? This transformation. So this transformation happened. You became a different person. Somehow. Did you change also your environment, your friends? What happened?
This not so much. Around me, not many things changed. It was mainly inside and outside, physically, and it's just like a very much more mature. Let's say like that.
Okay.
It's like, you know, I became like adult, let's say, at that time, because I had to.
Like a rite of passage.
Yeah, I really had to change something, and so take care of myself, a lot of responsibility on me to just handle that, because as you say also, if you talk about these things with people, I was trying to go to different doctor to understand the anxiety crisis, but nobody really know, and they can't help you for that, They're like, okay, take this pill, but you're like, but it does nothing to me, and so there's no way to get out of it apart by taking care of yourself, basically, and trying to understand how your own mind work and all these things. But yeah, the question of, let's say, the quest for meaning or all this. Yeah, I mean, this was already there when I was very young, but somehow not so much in the front. But after that, yes. After that, yeah, when I was 20, let's say, yeah, 20, 2016, it became like very, very, very strong because again, my life was again going in a very good way. I was DJ and all these things. Social life very strong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I was in
didn't
the.
knew this
I mean,
about you.
because I was Rasta, for sure, the music was there also.
Yeah, definitely.
So we were doing a very good team of friends. So a lot of in Switzerland, a lot of events every time with the music. So it wasn't the worst thing, it was still okay in a way, but also the life very upside down,
Oh, definitely.
like living the night, not having a very good job and all these things. But and at that time, everything became very difficult for me to keep going because remember every day in the summer holiday, I was just trying to do something. I don't know, going to do something during the day, going to work, going to the river, going to swim or whatever. But it was feeling so empty. But not in a way like, oh, what is the meaning of life? It really became like annoying.
Oh, wow.
Like how you say when you can't handle anymore this feeling. And I was like, I really need to do something there. And so I spoke with my father. And he told me, if you want, because I just finished my study at the time, my basic study. So I was 18. No, I was 20. And 2016. And then my father said, okay, if you want, I can give you some money, which was very, very kind. Give you some money, you can travel for 1 month, wherever you want.
Wow.
And I was like, where should I go, And I was like, maybe I go to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Because as a Rasta, that was the good thing to do. And take a picture with these old churches, on the ground. But somehow the feeling wasn't there. I was like, okay, in my mind, that would be the good thing to do. But the feeling, I didn't have any feeling for that, really. And I was like, I wanted to go to India. But then it didn't happen for some reason. And so I went to Bali. And in Bali, to make it very short, basically, one day I had a book with me on psychology, philosophy, and spirituality. It was like a round table of different people discussing, and then they made it a book.
Nice.
So I was reading that, very famous in France and Switzerland, very, very famous. Buddhist monk, Christian, Maturika. It was, at that time was a huge bestseller. And I was reading that and I liked it very much. I was like, it makes sense to me in some ways. But then I finished the book and I went in the street in Ubud, so in Bali, the main city, Ubud. I went there and I found a shop, basically, where you could give a book and take a book. I never saw that anywhere, but they say you just give whatever you want and you can take whatever you want, basically. And so I bring this book, and there was only one book in the shelf in French. It was Autobiography of a Yogi. And also like the guide for Bali. But this I didn't care so much, the travel guide. So it was just like this book. I was like, okay, yeah, I was like, that makes sense. There is some, I'm on the vibes. Let's say. I remember I was somehow praying to Vishnu at the time also, because in Bali you have Vishnu and Shiva temples, and somehow I was praying a little bit, and then I found this book, and I was like, okay. I came back to my room, I opened that book, and for 3 weeks that was left in Bali, I did only that. Just reading that again and again and again. It was like a life-changing thing.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that's what I want to do with my life.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that's why I was feeling so restless. And when I found that, I became calm a little bit more. I was like, okay, that's...
I have a purpose now.
Yeah,
I have an
I
aim.
will find the meaning of life
Yeah.
when I attain that.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so yeah, then I call a friend. He's a devotee. He's called Bharat. He lives in
Bharat, yeah.
Bharat, yeah, you know him.
Yeah.
He was here in the kitchen also for some time in SPM.
He's now in the French ashram.
That's it. But I knew him from before Guruji, and from the reggae Rasta, because he also had long dreadlocks. And so we used to spend time together also before. Not much, but... And I knew he was in the yoga, because he was teaching yoga in Switzerland. He had a place in a school. And so I sent him a message on Facebook, and I said, like, do you know about this book, like Yogananda, Kriya Yoga, Mahavatar Babaji, all these, masters? He told me, it's funny that you ask me that, because I'm now devotee of one guru called Paramahamsa Vishwananda, and he's from the same lineage and all these things. I mean, similar lineage. Yeah. And he sent me 2 bhajans of Guruji and a video, a satsang. And from there it started somehow. So I was reading the book and listening Guruji, reading the book, listening Guruji. For 3 weeks. And when I came back to Switzerland, I made some small altar in my room with Yogananda, Larima Shaya, Sri Yukteswar, Mahavatar Babaji, and Guruji.
Wow.
And I started to do some prayers I didn't know how to do, And then I took Atma Kriya. But to make it short, I could not do it because it was so... Again, when I was doing Kriya, I was feeling so much at peace. And at the same time, all the anxiety were coming out again. It's like the small part left that I was pushing aside, it was put in the front every time I was doing Kriya. And I was a bit scared of that because I was very scared to lose my social situation, to have to change, So I put that aside for a few months, and I keep doing my life as I was doing before until I saw Guruji. So basically 4 months after Bali, I saw him in Geneva for darshan. It was April 2017, and then from there, when he entered the room, I remember exactly the picture. He entered the room dressed in blue, and I was like, okay, beings like that really exist. It's not only in the book,
You felt it.
Yeah, straight away. That's a grace that I have from him. Let's say is that there was never a point where I was like, okay, there is maybe something higher than him. It was, for me, it was always like, he is that top level of things. It's not like he has anything to know. It's like, so that I had a chance that it happened the first time I saw him already. It didn't mean that I went on the path, not at all. But still, the feeling was there. I knew that this person will be always there to help me. And I was like, maybe in 10 years, whatever, I do my life easy, and then maybe in 10 years I can go.
I choose.
And then when I will really be helpless, I know he will be there. It was a feeling a little bit. That if I need, I knew there is a person that will have the answers. Yeah. So that's basically how.
This is how you met Guruji, this is how you started on the path.
Yeah, step by step. Step by step, for sure.
And how was the beginning on the path? Because now we see you as a Rishi and you're taking care of the academy, you're part of the team, and I would like to touch upon also this phase of your life, how you ended up to do this seva, but I'm really curious how it all began, like the small experiences with Guruji that led you to become a devotee, and how you ended up living here, like in Shri Pitanilaya, and then we take it from there. So
okay, yeah. So after this darshan in Geneva in 2017, April, I didn't practice anything. I put that on the side.
But you had that Makriya yoga.
I had Atma Kriya, but I didn't do anything. Didn't practice it. I was just doing my life, always thinking of him in some ways. I never forgot him, that's for sure. You can't. Anyway, it's very difficult, And I didn't want it to also. I wanted to have him in mind in some ways, but yeah. But then I was like trying to find some other way maybe, some different yogas, a bit more soft.
Yeah.
that could help me to
balance.
to keep up with this feeling of I need to know the meaning of life, and at the same time keeping my life as it is,
Yeah.
because
not change too much.
because
basically.
with a spiritual master like him, there is no way you will not
Yeah.
change. That's for sure. And that was clear for me also. That I was looking at the devotees around him, and I was like, wow, if I go into that, for sure it will be a bit different, like I will not be able to keep the same things I'm doing now and all this. So yeah, a lot of this thinking, and so I was going for one more year like that until 2018. And of course the social life was going very, very good, much, much, much better. Even the DJ activity, everything was going good, good, good. But all the rest, let's say the family life, the life with my family, father and brother and everything around, and also the finance and all this, everything was going down, because I was like, okay, you live as a DJ, that's cool, but you don't. I wasn't doing really anything.
You couldn't earn a lot of
No,
money
you
from
don't
that
earn a
life.
lot of money.
Especially you're spending a lot of money
You
as a
spend
DJ
you spend a lot of money
on
and
equipment and
you don't
living your
really go
life.
anywhere. Like I was just taking care of, because you know how it is in this mood of, let's say, Rasta rebel.
Yeah,
Is like we do a lot of, we say benevola.
Yeah.
Yeah, benevola. So I was taking care of a club,
Yeah.
a reggae club with some friends, but you are not paid,
Yeah,
for
nobody
that.
pays
It's like, so you are just there, and it's nice, but for life you don't go anywhere like that. And so basically, yeah, I was living this life. It wasn't making much, much, much sense. I wasn't evolving so much either on a personal level. And so then again, this feeling came that, okay, I really, really, really need to do something now because I'm going nowhere.
Yeah, like a plateau.
Yeah, and I had the chance that at that time also I met one girl, and we started a relationship. And because she was interested into yoga, it helped me also to let go of the rest. Because I was like, even if I lose all the friends, in a way, it's not that a big deal, because I was in this relationship, and so it was like, it made it easier.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, now it was 1 year after the darshan, basically. I said, okay, now I will try to practice every day at my kriya and some japa, something, and I just see where it goes, whatever. And yeah, in a few months, of course, everything changed a lot. So I stopped to. First I was still going to
the same places.
the same places, but I was a feeling of like what I'm doing here, like it's like
You don't belong anymore.
no, not anymore. And so step by step, in a very natural way, that I didn't expect it at all. I thought it would be like so strange, to change a bit the friends, but actually in a very easy way. We just didn't call each other anymore. It was like,
it was not matching anymore.
Then
the
we were
energy,
calling each other, and it's like, okay, there's nothing to say, and so yeah, in a very good way.
Have you stopped smoking and stuff like that?
Well, all the Rasta things, smoking weed, all this, I stopped a long time ago.
Oh wow!
So when I had the anxiety crisis, I had to stop. I was still taking a little bit, sometimes smoking, but not so. I could never. Drinking the same, I could never do it. So
that was not the.
At that time, it wasn't anymore the thing. It was a big thing when I was like 16, 17. That was. But then at that time, it was somehow easier. But then I was smoking cigarettes a lot. And that was funny because one day I came for darshan, the second darshan. Around that time, maybe May 2018, something like that. 1 year after the first one. And I was still smoking cigarettes. I was very very much addicted, because I started very early. And so yeah, I just came for darshan. And when I came out, I never smoked again. Never again. Like, it wasn't even that I wanted to stop, I wanted to smoke, but I could not. There was something like, there was a feeling that was stronger than my addiction, let's say.
Wow.
And so yeah, people who know me at the time, they can say, yeah, I just completely stopped everything. From that day, never touched any more, one drop of any alcohol, not smoking, nothing. I never took drugs in my life. I was smoking a lot of weed and with the Rasta movement, of course, but apart from that, I was graced that I never.
You were not passionate about the harder ones.
No, I never went into that.
Yeah.
I was a bit scared about that, to be honest.
Better.
Because I saw the people going into that and becoming very crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I lost some friend into that. So that's good. That was good. That always kept me a bit out of this. But yeah, so I really stopped everything, and then from there I could, step by step, having this willingness to become devotee. Now I was fitting the.
You had the criteria, you were
I was-
checking the
yeah,
boxes.
yeah, I was thinking.
I don't
didn't-
smoke, I don't drink.
Yeah, and also my life already changed. I was living.
You were
with,
vegetarian probably. Anyway, as a Rastafarian.
Yeah, that's why I was living with my girlfriend at the time, ex-girlfriend at the time. So yeah, that was the thing. So it was easy, let's say, to become devotee, and so
Organic, like you said.
yeah, in a very easy way. And so then one day I came to. It was funny. Goji was in Switzerland, and somehow the event was meant to be private, and at the same time not. You know what I mean? I think different person understood differently. And so of course you had, because in Switzerland, in Geneva especially, you had two sides. You have the Russian Sangha, I mean the Russian Ukrainian Sangha also,
Okay.
and yeah, and then you have the people more like Swiss, you know.
Okay.
And they don't think the same way.
Okay.
And that's funny because my Atma Kriya teacher, Shanti, from Ukraine, when she saw that Goji come, she said, you have to go there, you know. Like, there is no way you don't go there, you know. And also Anjani from Switzerland, she was like, they were pushing me to really go and meet Guruji there. Although it was a private event. And of course the Swiss were like, no, nobody come, nobody come. And, yeah, rules. And you really had these two sides, like, hey, just go and meet Goji. We don't care about the rules, you know.
We don't have boundaries.
Yeah, and then it was a very good thing, actually. It was a very good thing.
Of course.
Because I was like, okay, I don't really know, what to do. So I went there. It was in the temple of Swamini. So I went there, and of course they never saw me before, maybe once. And so I asked Swamini to become devotee. But she saw me, you know. She see this like 21-year-old guy, dreadlocks, coming. She never saw me before. She was like, are you sure you want to become devotee? You know, like, maybe you can just wait a little bit, you are young, you know. And I was like, okay, you know, if she said, I can't say anything. And so I went to sit with my food, and I was feeling so lost. I was like, and that was one of the worst feelings. I was like, if I cannot become devotee, what is the use of my practice, you know? Like, I was doing all this, but what is the use? You know, I really felt that time that without him, Guruji, without becoming devotee, from deep inside, nothing makes sense.
Wow.
It was really a feeling like, why, you know, nothing makes sense in a way without taking that step, let's say.
Yeah.
And at that time, so many from friends, she was also there. So many Salvatirtha. It's funny because if they watch this video, I don't think they remember. Maybe they remember, but it was, I guess, a very different situation. She told me, like, yeah, do you want to speak to Guruji? I was like, what? Because Guruji was giving an interview in the living room of the house. Where the event was taking place. So there was a living room, only him and few devotees, and he was on the sofa giving interviews. And I said, yes, I would like to talk to him if possible. You know? And she just opened the door, pushed me inside, closed the door. And I was like, seeing Goji a bit far like that, and the heart, you know, start to beat super fast and all these things. And then Goji told me, hey, come. I just bowed down. And then I could not speak anymore, I could not say anything anymore. It was like, it was very, very strong experience.
His presence.
Yeah, his presence, I could not, he asked me, what's your name? I could not say anything. I was like, you know, I was completely gone somehow. Really, very, very happy, but something different, you know, how it is, you know. First time talking with him on private. And so I asked him if I can become devotee. He told me, wait a little bit, keep doing some japa. And so, yeah. That's what happened basically. And then, that was very sweet because what happened at night, he did a nice miracle. I mean, it was just beautiful because at that time, my girlfriend at that time could not come because she had she was working in a restaurant, and there was no way she could find any replacement. And she really wanted to come to see Guruji, like very sincerely, but no way to come. And so I just spoke to Guruji that night. And when I was going away, he said, come back, come back, come back. And he just removed some of his hair. And he said, when you come back, give that to your girlfriend. Super sweet, like super sweet. I didn't told him anything. It was super, super sweet. And I think he was also then creating the relationship with her, like that. And so yeah, then end of the summer, August 2018. Then I came to the ashram. I asked him if I can become devotee. And when he said yes, the happiness was like crazy, like crazy. I never felt like that really. It was doing darshan in a darshan hall. He just said yes. I was like, wow. It was different. And then I became devotee and just, I just tried to do what he says, do the japa, do Atmakriya. And he told me to finish my study. So I had 4 years to go because I started again to go to university.
What were you studying?
So the basic study I did before Bali, before all that, was gardening.
Gardening?
But not gardening. If you want, in Geneva, people maybe from Geneva will know this thing. There is one school called Lullier. It's one school very famous, in which you learn 5 professions in one go. So you learn how to take care of vegetables, the trees, for the fruits. In English, I never know how to speak about that, but
it's not permaculture.
No, it's not permaculture. It's like normal production.
Okay.
But you learn for the fruits, the vegetables. You learn also for the flowers, for the shops, everything basically, and then landscaper.
Okay.
And the last one is to take care of the. Basically, if in the forest, you need to plant some new trees. You learn how to make them grow in a specific place and then bring them here, whatever. So all these things I learned for a few years, and then I went to one specific company, and this was my first diploma and job here, let's say. And I learned a lot for that because they were very, very intense people. They really pushed me out of my comfort zone in terms of intensity of job, and I'm very grateful for them because it really helped me a lot to discipline myself.
Oh, wow.
Because in this field, people are very intense. They are really not lazy people. And
man, they have to go up the mountain and plant trees. Is not something that lazy people do.
And even during in some big shops, where you produce plants and sell them during the big season,
because
it's like
the plants don't wait for you. Nature doesn't wait for you.
But that's the thing. You have to sell them, otherwise it's finished. And then, so there's such a movement. At the same time, they really love what they do, and so it's very beautiful to see. I really learned a lot. But basically, that was my job at that time. But then I went to university to learn agronomia. Agronomia, which is the science for the soil. Yeah. And so, so I did 1 year to go between my professional life to university. I had to do some in between, let's say, to catch up with the level. And then I went to university for 3 years. Goji told me it is a good thing to do. And so I was living with my ex-girlfriend. She was devotee also. And so but it was very clear from the moment I became devotee here in 2018. I think I still have a message I sent to Swami Aniruddha just after becoming devotee. I was like, can I live as a brahmachari in a relationship? Like keeping the relationship but living brahmacharya,
You like the paradox.
And I was 21, it was funny. But the idea was always there. And somehow it was very clear for me, and I think for her also at the time, that the moment I finish my study, I will come here to live.
Oh, okay.
And this was really clear, and I really had this in mind. And somehow the way it happened was quite funny because it really happened exactly like that. Like the day I finished my thesis, bachelor thesis, I did my defense. So I went to them, present my work and all these things. And then few days after I was here, few days after I was brahmachari. So it was literally like 1 week after I was brahmachari here. And they even asked me, like when I was doing the defense, because when you write a thesis, you always start by saying thanks to this person, and the first name I put was Paramahamsa Vishwananda. I was trying to put Guruji in a way, it should be here, but in a way that still fit the context, you know.
Okay.
So I was like, thanks to Paramahamsa Vishwananda for the inspiration to study this subject. Or I don't remember how I said it. But of course, they all read it and look online. And they were like, who is this Paramahamsa Vishwananda? And I was like, yeah, you know, actually next week I will be a monk in Germany. And so then they understood like why I was a bit off, you know.
Okay.
Because I was always going with the teachers and the people at school, but I was never drinking or whatever, you know. And so they never really understood what I was doing, you know. They were like, who is this guy? You know, he's like in and out at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, yeah, that was how it happened. After the 4 years of study, 1 week, 2 weeks, I just became Brahmachari here.
And you moved to the ashram
Yeah, I moved here.
straight away.
Yeah.
And you started doing seva here.
Garden, yeah.
Garden.
No, because I used to come every summer. Every time I had some few weeks of holiday, I was trying to come here and do some weeks of seva. Always in this mood to develop a little bit this lifestyle, let's say, of monk, a little bit. And yeah, during that time, these 4 years before I became Brahmachari, yeah, Guruji at some point kept me a bit more close to him. I had the chance to spend maybe in total 1 month close to him in between here and Mauritius. And it really changed me a lot. A lot. It really helped me to also be clear about myself, what I want, what is the path, you know. He made me a pujari for Shiva. So it was, you know, everything was very clear that my path will be to...
Is here, yeah.
He wasn't like making me doubt it, you know, like it was very clear that I want that, and somehow he's very open for that also. So yeah, and then it became, so I just became Brahmachari in the garden, and for sure I liked it. Of course, my thing was more into study at the time, so I was always listening some lectures, and so it wasn't. Yeah.
So you had this calling for studying from the beginning.
Yeah,
you were fascinated by the philosophy, or what drew you?
Not much, you know. Before becoming devotee, I wasn't into philosophy at all. I mean, I was very philosophical to speak with the friends, you know, at night.
Yeah, I know that philosophy.
Big philosophy.
Yeah, we're very smart.
To speak with my father and my grandmother, you know, big philosophy like that. But quite nonsensical though. But then
it trains.
It trains the mind,
the appetite for it.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's true. So that was my philosophy before meeting Guruji. But after meeting him, I remember the first class with Swami Revatikanta about the Guru Gita and Vaishnavism. And he explained the philosophy in a very nice way. You know how he is. Like,
very clear.
Yeah, it was impressive, I tell you. Like, when first time I came here, I saw his lecture, I was like, wow, like that's the next level, really. Like, as a teacher,
clarity,
it was, because now we lose a little bit the perspective with time, but like first time I was like, wow, that's impressive. I really enjoyed a lot. But for me, it wasn't enough that they just tell me this is like that. And it never was. Even in the Rasta movement, I wanted to understand why I do these things. You know, what is the path?
You had the question always.
How did all this come? You know, and I never like to do something I don't understand, in a way. And so, at least for that, something that you can understand. I don't speak about that for Guruji. You know? Of course, Guruji, I don't try to understand him. You know, but the philosophy and the path, that yes. And so, quite early, I tried to ask the Swamis to give me something to study. Let's say some sources, but it wasn't so. You know, I was just reading some scriptures here and there. Of course, I was always in the Sangha. I was always the guy that liked to study a bit more, you know, but not like now.
Yeah.
Not like
now you're only studying.
Not only. But it's like, and yeah, until maybe 1 year before I became Brahmachari. Then also, in Switzerland, I met one devotee from Switzerland, Sahadev, who is now Rishi Sahadev also.
Who's your colleague in the academy?
Yeah. So we do many of the projects with Swami Akash and him, basically the three of us. And so he was in Switzerland, And somehow we didn't really connect so much before because he was on the German side, I was on the French side. And so many of us, like young devotees in Switzerland, we didn't have a very deep connection. But at some point, it started to grow a little bit more with also Rishi Vrishaparva that just became Rishi.
Yeah.
So the three of us, we connected a bit more. So, and Sadev was very much into study, very, very much, since years. And so it gave me some inspiration and how to go, how to do that. And so yeah, I started to go in. I asked Guruji, can I study this and that, basically bhakti and the bhakti path and different things. And yeah, I never stopped somehow. But it also is very natural for me. Because one thing that I had the grace from Guruji to do is like when I move away from the Rasta movement, I never ever listen reggae again. I was very strict with myself that anything that I was doing before, I just let it go fully.
Wow.
Because I knew if I keep that, it will be difficult.
Yeah,
it will always drag me down, always.
Yeah.
And so I developed a taste for that also. It's not like, because maybe some of us can think like, okay, but you have to force yourself. But for me, I don't force myself to do this. It's like, that's just how I learn to enjoy. That's my fun, let's say. It may be a bit strange like that, but like listening bhajan become the thing you like, or you know what I mean, like developing this taste.
It's exactly what you said. Is developing the taste, because it is exotic for most of us, especially from West. It's not something that we're familiar with, and you have to grow into it. And now I look at what I listen, and I haven't listened to any other kind of music, and it's strange.
Yeah.
Because I was quite open with a lot of genre of music, and I went through a lot of them.
You were into it also.
I was into trip hop. I was into new jazz. I was into heavy metal, black metal. So it was. I went stages in my life were labeled by the music that I was listening.
Yeah.
So when I encountered the bhajans and the kirtans, it took me a while. The thing that I connected with instantly was the bhakti wave.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was like Harichetana's Give My Life.
Yeah, nice,
that because it was familiar in some way. I loved the message, but the music was so strange for me, and Bhakti Wave bridged this gap. That's why I really love what you guys are doing with Swami Akash, because that's also a bridge for people.
It helps to connect.
It helps to connect because you want to enjoy the mantra, you want to enjoy the names of God, but maybe, I don't know.
We are not used to it.
Harmonium and
mridanga.
tabla and mridanga are not enough, or are not on my frequency. My ear doesn't record it. So I think this is also the case with the knowledge and the philosophy. It's an acquired taste.
Of course.
You need to become familiar in order to record it.
Yeah. I know, of course.
I was watching a video yesterday. What do we call beauty? What is beauty? And the guy was trying to uncover the concept of beauty, and one quality is it's familiar. It becomes familiar. Once it becomes familiar, then I can call it beautiful. Because if we look at the history of art, the things that now we call beautiful, they were not beautiful at all.
Yeah.
When they came, because they were not familiar.
Yeah.
And it's the same for music, in our case, or knowledge. Once you become familiar with it and you understand the language of what we're talking about, then my brain can relax from the panic mode of what does this mean, and like really enjoy and like, oh wow. And this is nice because we're bridging now to the topic of what you've been working on lately, and the fact that we released the book now at Just Love Festival. And can you share a little bit the process of our Siddhanta, how this came into place and why is it necessary?
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I became devotee, we were all Sri Vaishnava.
Yeah.
So
Was the case for me also.
for you, the same. You know, it's like it was very clear, and there was satsang of Guruji, and the satsang was clear. You are Sri Vaishnava, identify with that fully.
Exactly.
But then with time, and I mean as we see in history or in many cases, of course, every great personality, spiritual personality like Guruji, like great masters, they can't fit into something which already exists.
Yeah.
Why? Because they come with a message for a specific time and place also. And so of course the Vaishnavism of the 12th century Tamil Nadu is not the same as the Vaishnavism of the 21st century in Germany. So that's very clear, you know. That,
If you put it like this,
yeah,
it becomes very clear.
that's just what it is in a way. You know,
It is
like,
what it is, exactly.
it's just like 12th century is very different than than the time we are living now. And so of course many of the things
Yogis in the forest. This is the beauty of this, this ashram. You can really find yogis in the forest. On the road, literally on the road.
like in the 12th century.
Like
That's how they do, how they used to do.
exactly.
But so yeah, and of course we saw at that time. I mean, I wasn't so much into that, but I guess Swami Vatikanta, Swami Akash, Swami Anyoda, and Myron, everybody, they could see that the way Guruji speaks, the way
It doesn't fit.
in many ways, yes, okay. Sriman Narayana is the highest deity. We chant Om Namo Narayana. That much, yes. We worship in the temple, yes. But the mindset behind this, you know, is very different. It's very different. And so, of course, with time, also some people, started to say, but look at this Bhakti Marga. They are not doing exactly like it should be in the Tamil Nadu or whatever, you know.
They're not orthodox.
Yeah, they're not orthodox enough.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it wasn't coming from, I mean, it's interesting. Because it wasn't coming from the Sri Vaishnava themselves, really, from Tamil Nadu. It was coming from people living in the West.
Of course.
So it was more like, yeah.
We have that saying, more Catholic than the Pope.
That's it. That's a bit. We could have lived in a very, very nice symbiotic way. We still aim for that. But, okay. And so what Guruji says is basically now we need our own sampradaya. Lineage and because he is full in himself, you know, he doesn't need any. His message is complete. He doesn't need to be fitting any case or, you know, existing model.
Basically, we are creating a framework for the Western mind to understand, like a seeker like yourself, when you were trying to make sense of what was happening, the inconsistency might have derailed you, and now we're basically creating this framework for people to operate inside of Bhakti Marga. So when they come into the movement, they really have some clarity, more clarity.
That's it, to really understand, okay, what is Guruji's message and what is Guruji's position, what is the path, basically. What is the path that we have in Bhakti Marga. And so it came when, of course, Rishi Sadev and we became brahmachari at the same time, with Rishi Jagadish also, Vrishaparvaananda, Savadi. Many of us, we became the same day. Nila Madhava, we all became the same day brahmachari. And so a few days after, Myron was in the dining hall, and I never spoke to any of them. That's the thing, I didn't have any connection with any Swamis or anybody from Bhakti Marga, really, apart from Guruji and the Sangha in Geneva. So in SPN, I didn't know anybody really. You know, I wasn't close to anybody in a way. It's not like I had this big connection with this Swami.
Okay.
The only connection I had was with Guruji, basically. And of course, I knew them, but it wasn't like feeling so. You know, they were not like big friends. I didn't knew them really. And so, but I knew Myron from the lectures, and Myron was always very inspiring, and you know, I knew he was very much into these things, study and you know the philosophy. And so I just came to him and said, Myron, can I speak to you 1 minute? And I asked him about, you know, about these courses in different universities about philosophy, you know, because I knew he took some of them. And we started to connect like that. Straight away, very good connection. Very good connection. And he shared to me that, it would be nice to have like a Siddhanta, something more like, because at that time there was a doc, 30 pages doc, that kind of summarized our position. And it came out at the same time as the Aribhakta Sampradaya. It was like a basis, like you put a stamp.
Yeah.
That's basically we are different than the classical Sri Vaishnava. Okay. We have our own Sampradaya. But it wasn't like a book, it wasn't meant to be like that. And so,
I remember that document.
You remember that
document?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
Very well put.
Very well put. And for us, it was a big revolution at the time. At least for me in the outside. But yeah. And so, a few days after that, as we talked with Myron, I was in the garden. Sadev also was there. And I received a call from Rishi Pankaj. And he told me, come, Guruji want to speak to both of you in the dining hall. And we came, Myron was there also. And we spoke a little bit. And then there were different people around. And he said, I want you to come together and to produce something. So he said, I want you to come together and do something together, basically. And then he started from there. He didn't say, I want a Siddhanta, I want this exactly, no. He said, I want you to, the topic was like that. The topic was about Siddhanta and all these things. And he said, I want you to come together and to produce something together. And from there, there was no doubt that it was the Siddhanta that was meant, let's say. And so we started like that. And then we started to meet every week maybe with Samira Vatikanta, Samya Anyoda, Sham, Myron, Rishi Sadev, Swami Chidananda. Swami Chidananda was there. And we all met on Zoom and tried to start something, like we took some of the philosophical book and we said, okay, what does Guruji say on this? What does he say on that, And we thought that we will all agree. And it was a very funny part because we realized that for every topic almost, even the most basic thing of philosophy, we all disagree.
Wow.
Every one of us. Like nobody, it was always at least two camps, at least two opinions for each topic.
Wow.
Sometimes way more. It was funny because we realized how much
it was mirroring.
It was needed actually.
Yes, it was mirroring the state.
It's not really even making a philosophy the important. The most important was to agree on something.
Wow.
And this Guruji said also to one devotee when we were doing this book. The devotee asked Guruji, do you care about what they write in the book, how they write it and all this? And Guruji said no. What he wants is that we agree on something together. So from the beginning, the mood was more to do something together rather than doing something, it has to be the, I don't know how to say. Because you anyway, you can't capture God in a philosophy,
It's very hard.
So the most important is, okay, what does Guruji say? And to align with that. All together we agree on something, And so it gave us a lot of opportunities to speak with Guruji, and Guruji clarified a lot of things. It was a nice process. Guruji was very willing also to help in this. And so after a few years, so it was in 2022. And so 2.5, 3 years after, it came out like that. And it's nice. I think devotee appreciate a lot. They enjoy a lot. I think it's very new for many of us. But it's good.
Especially because the reason we came here is not the philosophy.
No,
we came because of the experience. And I think at the beginning somehow it makes sense. It was not even necessary to have a Siddhanta or Sampradaya, because the experience of being in his presence was enough. Everybody is drawn to his personality at the end of the day. But this is what I love and appreciate in Bhakti Marga, and the way Guruji teaches. He gives you the experience, but he then pushes you to understand it. It's like, okay, it's nice, we can be all flower power, nice, kumbaya, holding hands, love is the answer, but let's be grounded and truly try to understand why is it like this. And I think this is a mental switch that a lot of devotees are doing now, especially since we have also the platform
Yeah.
where we get educated in our own path. Because let's be real, Guruji just started the tradition.
That's it.
It's not like we have 2000 years of debates in which we solidified, crystallized, and this is what we think. No, we are basically the first people who actually try to understand and make sense of something that is beyond our mind, which is Guruji.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All our experiences that we share,
That's it.
even on these channels, we share experiences that make no sense to the mind.
Yeah, most of it. It's true.
And we try now to make sense of it somehow. We try to make sense, and one of the ways to do it is through this Siddhanta. So I think this is a very important cornerstone in Bhakti Marga. I think we are reaching a point of maturity, like you were describing your journey and how you had that turning point that matured you. I think also lately Guruji's he's encouraging us, let's say the least, to be more responsible, to be more mature, to own who we truly are and truly to understand how can we serve better in this way, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And also, I mean, the best thing you can do if you want to understand how to use this philosophy is to check the book, because 2 weeks before publishing the book, we all agreed that we need to ask Guruji if he wants to write something as an intro for the book. How to use it, what is the Arya-Bhakta, what is Hari-Bhakta Sampradaya, what is that, what is all that, you know, what is the purpose of all this, you know. And so he agreed, in a very sweet way. And so he sent to us this forward.
Yeah.
And in that he explained very nicely, you know. He said at the end it's all about love, so it's not about philosophy. But he said we need to understand the path. And the thing is that we need to, I think, be very clear on these things, you know. Philosophy is just a way to understand what we are doing. Yeah, to be clear. Okay, I am doing that for that reason. I understand what I'm doing. And I can speak of it. You know, if somebody come to me and say, your path is like that, I say no. You know, I understand what I'm doing, you know. And then you can explain. And then you can bring Guruji also to people in a more grounded way, you know. It's not like you can just explain what you are doing, and also for you it makes you more clear on how and why you do things. Because maybe one thing I need to mention also, that is good to mention for maybe those of you listening about that. When my journey, let's say, with studying, if you can say like that, it's a bit dry, but some of my journey to engage into that, and I think I'm really not the only one. Somya Anyoda mentioned that in many satsang also. He saw that in some devotees. Samir Vatikanta, of course, spoke about that a lot. Is that the more you engage into it, for me at least, the more I enjoy the path. It really creates so much enjoyment because you realize how deep is this thing that Guruji is giving.
That's it.
Because if you don't go into it, it's
You're
okay.
at the surface level.
But Guruji will say it's always, maybe you are very, very special and you don't need this. You are fully surrender. It may be, you know, it may be. Some saints, they didn't even spoke, you know, they couldn't even read. Of course, they don't need philosophy. But if we are not there yet, to understand the path and to enjoy something, we need to understand it also a little bit, you know. Like you said, the beauty comes when you become familiar with it.
Exactly.
And so many a time we don't see the beauty of the path, we don't understand why we do what we do. And we don't see so many things Guruji is giving because we don't have the right frame, you know.
We miss the depth of the satsangs because of this sometimes.
Also, it seemed to be, but Guruji said that yesterday, today he said that like that, why, you know? It seemed to be, because very often we think Guruji is speaking in a very contradicting way.
Yeah.
But it's not true. It's not, of course, Guruji play with the mind, and of course he will say something and say something different. It may, many times it happens. This is many masters were doing that. But overall, he has a very consistent philosophy. And everybody who worked on the Siddhanta will agree, I think, that it wasn't that difficult to come to a point. For us, it was difficult to agree on what Guruji
Individually,
meant,
yeah.
Because we all have some idea on what this means. But the sentence of Guruji, what he said,
It's very clear.
is quite systematic actually. It's quite clear. He always kept the same message. Simple, extremely deep. Like Guruji style, one sentence, and if you meditate on it, you can get everything from that.
Yeah.
But so just to say that, all this, it seemed very dry, you can say, philosophy and all this.
Yeah.
But there's a reason behind, If almost all the Vaishnava, the great Vaishnava, they spend time with these things, it's not for nothing. It's like
sure.
because there's a value in trying to understand the path and
it feels almost like an antidote to the trend. Like from what
do you mean?
What you observe now is less and less training for the mind to go in depth and in length.
Yeah.
When I started acting, I remember we used to watch art movies for days. Like we would play French movies, whatever, like Russian, Japanese, all it was, and not simple movies, man, like really deep
a high
topics,
quality,
like the la creme de la creme, you might say, you know?
Yeah.
And those were challenging for the mind. Those were challenging. We would try to understand the meaning behind the message of what that artist wanted to say. And it helped you gain depth as an actor on stage, because you have food for thought. There was no shallow thoughts on stage. That was the fear that every actor had, was to have fish eyes on stage, like looking blank, like I have no thought going. And there was a famous actor that came. He came from Moscow, and he had a play. And one of the older generation guys said, I met this actor. He had a scene when he was reading. He heard like that his wife was basically cheating on him, and he had a moment of like 3 or 4 minutes of complete silence, just looking straight. And this older actor from Romania, he was fascinated. He went backstage and he went to the guy and he said, the show was amazing, but that 3 minutes of you looking in front, that process that you had when you heard the news, what happened there? And the guy pulls out a notebook, like a thick notebook, and he says, these are all the thoughts that I think during those 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So he made a full diary of the thought process of the character that he goes through. And he goes through that whole monologue in his mind.
Wow.
And when you look at him, it's mesmerizing. So that quality somehow is lost today because you don't go that deep. You have TikTok, you have Facebook, Instagram.
ChatGPT even more.
ChatGPT now it's another challenge. It's finished. So we don't go deep anymore. We don't have the ability to go on the long run with that deepness. Maybe I reach some depth, but not on the long run. I don't have the training anymore.
Yeah.
So engaging in reading books like this, the academy, even going on the website of Bhakti Marga and listening to all the lectures.
Yeah.
Even that is a process of its own, trying to make sense, to understand and go as deep as you can, because the world works against this. It's crazy. It works against critical thinking.
Yeah.
It works against depth. And everything is like first hand, first impulse.
Just come
and
like that.
And I get bored very quick. That's the trend. Wow, this was a really nice conversation, and I'm happy
Yeah.
to know you
Yeah.
in this way,
Cool.
because I told the viewers every time, we never get the chance to spend proper time to know each other, because the ashram has its own rhythm,
Yeah.
and it feels like if we would hang out in Bhajan Cafe spending 2 hours talking, it was like, are you not going to do any seva today?
Yeah.
You
There's
feel
something to
bad.
do. Yeah.
Something inside you makes you feel bad. But knowing that we're sharing in order for other people also to benefit, then I'm really happy that we had this conversation.
It was really nice. Thanks a lot.
And I would ask you one final question.
Good.
After these years, what would be one of the core messages and teachings and lessons that you draw out of living for so many years next to Paramahamsa Vishwananda, living in a community, living in an ashram? What if you would just give us a gem?
On the spiritual path.
On the spiritual path.
I would say that before I had a lot of different conception of what was spirituality, how to reach, what is the aim, what is the path, what is the right way of thinking. But more and more now, the feeling is that the best thing we can do is to pray to meet one master like him, the Sadguru, the true Guru. And if we have the chance that he come to pick us, then trying to engage in whatever he says. Whatever he gives, trying to engage into that. Because him and the practice he gives, the satsang he gives, that's the only path, really. And I mean, in life we do many things. We want to be happy in so many ways, but there's no happiness there. That's very clear. And the only way to get that goal of life is only through the Sadguru, only through such a personality. So I was also saying, interview last week for Just Love, I was saying the same. It's like, just if we don't have a Sadguru, let's pray. Let's always pray to find one, that he finds us, let's say. And then try to engage as much as we can. Step by step, of course, it doesn't come like that. But step by step, always engage more and more and more. And realize this feeling of belonging. That it's not like we are here and we are lost, and there is no connection between anybody. No, everybody is connected to him in some ways. And if you go deep into that connection with him, with one's Sadguru, with the name, the practice he gives, then everything comes like that. I see myself now. Before we spoke anxiety, we spoke about quest for sense of life, This is all gone from long time ago. Long time ago. And this is thing that normally can stay for life.
You can die without finding.
You can die without finding
peace
anything
or meaning.
And with him, in 1 year, 2 years, just trying to engage what he said, the satsang, sadhana, his presence, everything went away and life becomes so meaningful, beautiful, peaceful in so many ways. But I would say, if you really want to do take a spiritual path, just try to pray to find the Sadguru. And if you already have one, just go fully into the practice, studying his teaching, understanding the path, and then everything comes from there. I think that's what we are aiming at.
It's a rare opportunity.
It's the rarest opportunity. But somehow, because you say, we live in a world that is very distracting, and so we forget that. But of course, we need so much to be here now. So taking that into consciousness, trying to do the best we can to engage with what he gives, basically. Like you say, when the washerman is in the city, we need to bring the dirty clothes. Because once he go away, there's nobody to wash the clothes.
That's a really good one.
He says that in Vrindavan. And that's the thing. As long
that's
as he is
practice,
there,
actually,
as long as he is there, if we do what he say, we can always evolve so much. Once he's gone, of course his grace is still there. But we need to have this relationship with him now.
And we're blessed to have him in person.
Yeah.
It's a living master. And
That's why.
and this is completely different from a master that has left his body, because he challenges us directly.
Yeah.
He doesn't let us go astray.
It's not so easy, but still, it always become more and more deep as much as we engage. So yeah, that will be the.
You heard Rishi Ji. It's a very, very good advice. Thank you for this conversation.
Thanks to you.
It was amazing.
It was very nice.
It was really nice walk. It was really nice walk. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you on the next one.
Jai Gurudev.
Stay grounded and walk straight towards God. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.